Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, friends, family, and other random passers-by. As today, it's a new week, it's a nice morning, and I'm playing Fighting Fantasy number 5, City of Thieves, for the second time. Now, the first time, it's been a few days now, so I don't remember as much as I was hoping I would by the time I got to play the second time. But I did. It did seem to have a lot to do with money, this one. You have to manage your money, you have to find money, you have to avoid people stealing your money and your stuff. Because, yeah, in this book, everyone's out to get you, it seems, because you're in the city of thieves. So, there we are. So, without too much further ado, I will get started. And I will see you on my desk in a few moments. Right, so here we are. We got my supplies ready, as I usually like calling it. I got my book, I got my dice, got my pens, got my character sheet, and also my map from last time, which I will have to fill in as I go along. And also I got my cup of tea. Ah, yummy. Okay. Now the tea is becoming sort of a standard feature, I think, in my videos. So there will, of course, be a video specifically about that at some point, which I know some of you are looking forward to. Right, so before I get started, I have to make a new character. My last one met an ugly demise at the hands of feet, I suppose, maybe the jaws of a giant centipede down in the sewers. Just the fact that there are sewers in a city like this was quite surprising to me last time. I definitely didn't see that coming. It seems a bit incongruous, I think, with what you know about Port Blacksand and this kind of fantasy setting, that there should be sewers in a city like that. But there you go. Skill, 1 die plus 6. And it's a decent 11. Stamina, 2 dice plus 12. A not so decent 17. Luck, 1 die plus 6, 10. Better than last time. I got 10 provisions, and I got 1 potion of stamina. You do have the option of getting a potion that either restores your luck and adds 1 point to it, one that restores your skill, or one that restores your stamina. All of the potions you can select, of course, they have in common that you cannot use them in combat, nor can you eat provisions in combat. A provision restores 4 points of stamina, and of course the potion restores the full stamina and only once. So those are the things that I have, and I really should have I should have found my old character sheet, because I might have some clues there that I might need this time, but I can't. I'm not going to be bothered. I'll be fine. Yes, famous last words. So that's quite a long background in this one, but I will read it all over again this time, just in case you're a new viewer. Because the thing is, you don't have to watch every single episode in these series of mine, because I'm starting from the beginning every time, basically. So I'm not going to assume that that people have watched any of these videos before, or indeed that you know anything about fighting fantasy. So here we are. So I'm starting with the background. Okay. You are an adventurer in a world of monsters and magic, living by quickness of wit and skill and skill of sword. Earn your gold as a hired warrior, usually in the employ of rich nobles and barons on missions too dangerous or difficult for their own men. Slaying monsters and fearsome beasts in pursuit of some fabled treasure comes as second nature to you. Being an experienced and highly trained swordsman, you allow nothing to stand in your way on your quests. Your success on a mission is always assured, and your reputation has spread throughout the lands. Whenever you enter a village or town, the news of your arrival spreads through the citizens like wildfire, as few of them have ever met a dragon slayer before. One evening, after a long walk through the outlands, you arrive at Silverton. which lies at the crossroads of the main trading routes in these parts. Great wooden wagons hauled by teams of oxen are often seen rumbling slowly through the town, laden with herbs, spices, silks, metalware, and exotic foods from far-off lands. Over the years, Silverton has prospered as a result of the rich merchants and traders stopping there en route to distant markets. As well, oh, hang on. I've not focused my camera, have I? Okay, sorry about that. Over the years, Silverton has prospered as a result of the rich merchants and traders stopping there en route to distant markets. Its wealth is quite apparent, with ornate buildings and richly dressed people aplenty. But as you enter the town gates, something strikes you as being not quite right. The people look nervous and on edge. Then you notice that all the windows on the buildings have great iron grills bolted over them, and the doors have been strengthened too. Although you prefer your own company to that of others, you decide to stay in Silverton for the night to find out who or what is troubling the people. As you walk down the main street, a single note from a bell rings out from a tall tower ahead. Then a man shouts almost desperately, "Nightfall! Nightfall! Everybody indoors!" You see people scurrying around with anxious faces and looking surprised when they see you. Across the street you see a tavern with the words "The Old Toad" painted on its signboard. As you enter the tavern, a whisper runs through the locals as they recognize you. Some put down their mugs and stare. I wish I wouldn't do that. You are somewhat surprised that none come over to you to hear tales of adventure. Walking over to the counter, you ask the old innkeeper for a room and a hot tub, but he ignores you and shuffles over to the great oak door, pushing 6 large iron bolts into place. Only then does he turn to you and say quietly, "That will be 5 copper pieces for the room and 1 more for the tub in advance, if you please." You reach into a leather pouch on your belt and toss the coins on the counter. He hands you an iron key, but at that very moment there is a loud knocking at the door, followed by a voice shouting, "Open up! Open up! This is Owen Caroliff." The old innkeeper shuffles over to the oak door again and slides open the bolts. Then a fat and balding man dressed in rich scarlet robes bursts into the tavern, looking around frantically. He sees you and walks quickly in your direction, huffing and puffing. He is a man certainly not used to haste. You notice great beads of sweat on his forehead in the pale candlelight of the room. As he nears you, he calls out urgently, "Stranger, I must speak with you. Please sit down. It is important that I speak with you." When he turns to the innkeeper to snap his fingers for food and drink, you can see that he is obviously of some standing in the town. But his face is full of anguish and sorrow. Being curious, you decide to hear what the man has to say. He pulls out a chair for you at a table, bidding you to sit down, and the innkeeper bustles in with a tray laden with hot broth, roast goose, and mead. The man in the scarlet robe sits opposite in silence, watching you as you feast, as though examining you for some purpose of his own. Finally, as you push your plate away, the man leans forward and says in a low but anxious voice, "Stranger, I know of you and seek your aid. My name is Owen Caroliff, and I am the mayor of Silverton. We are in great trouble and danger. We are living under a curse, and it is I who must rid us of it. 10 days ago, 2 messengers of evil rode into town on huge black stallions with fiery red eyes. It was impossible to see the faces of the riders, for they wore long black cloaks with hoods pulled over their faces. Their voices were cold, and each word spoken ended with an unnerving hiss. They asked for me by name, and when I came to greet them, they wanted to take my beloved daughter, Mirelle, to stay with their master, Zanbar Bone. No doubt you know that he is the Night Prince." Of course, I refused their demand, and without another word, they turned and rode slowly out of the town, heads down and shoulders hunched. I knew then that beneath the cloaks were hidden the skeletal and soulless bodies of spirit stalkers. Zanbar Bone always uses them as his messengers, as they will complete their mission or die in the attempt. And they do not die easily. Only a silver arrow through the heart will release those evil beings from their eternal twilight existence. Who knows what it would take to kill Zanbar Bone? Anyway, that same night after the spirit stalkers left, our troubles began. The Night Prince was angry and determined to harm us. 6 moondogs came, each stronger than 4 men, each with razor-sharp fangs. They stalked through the town, entering homes through open windows and killing the poor people inside. In the morning we counted 23 dead, so we barred our windows and bolted our doors, yet each night the moondogs return, and we are unable to sleep for fear that they might find a way into our homes. Some people are now talking of sending Mirel to Zanbar Bone. Those whimpering traitors. I should have them flogged. But what good would that do? There is but one hope, and that rests with you, stranger. There is a man called Nicodemus who, for reasons I'll never understand, lives in Port Blacksand. The place is commonly called the City of Thieves, as it is the home of every pirate, brigand, assassin, thief, and evildoer for hundreds of miles around. I think he lives there just to get some peace from the likes of us. He is a wise old wizard and is unlikely to come to much harm, even in Port Blacksand, for his magical powers are great. He alone is capable of defeating Zanbar Bone. He used to be a friend of mine many years ago. We need him, and I beg you to bring him to us. None here dares enter Port Blacksand. You will be well rewarded if you help us, stranger. Take these 30 gold pieces. Gold. 30, that would last. For your journey, and take this sword to use and keep. As Owen Caroliff rises, he pulls back his scarlet robe, revealing the finest broadsword you have ever seen. He hands it to you, and touching the edge of the blade, you are surprised to see a droplet of blood fall from your finger. You then examine the marvelously ornate gilded serpents twining round the hilt. You have never wanted anything so badly in your life before. Love at first sight. You stand up and hold out your right arm to Owen. He shakes it eagerly, saying, "You must set off at the first light of dawn. The moondogs will be gone by then. I shall be forced, to stay the night here also, so let us drink to our destiny, and may the gods be with us." For the next hour, Owen talks about your coming journey, explaining in detail how to reach Port Blacksand. Later, you gather up your backpack and furs and climb the wooden stairs to your room. You sleep uneasily despite the security afforded by your new broadsword, as you are more than once woken by the sniffing, scratching, and howling of the roaming moondogs outside. By dawn, you are already awake and dressed, and determined to reach Port Blacksand quickly to find this man, Nicodemus. As you leave the tavern, a black cat scurries past your feet, and you almost trip. A bad omen, perhaps. Now turn over. And that is by far the longest introduction, I think, in any fighting fantasy book. Now, as I have been mentioning in my last 2 videos, I'm still wondering when my batteries are going to run out on my sound recorder. So every now and again, okay, it shows not full. Every now and again, I will just have to check just to be sure. I don't want to be running out of battery when I'm recording. I wonder there's a way to... because I can't see the screen of the recorder the way it is placed. I was wondering if I could... Maybe, just give me 2 seconds. Just wondering if I could maybe use a mirror so I can see the battery levels. Can't really see it, but at least I can see if the screen turns off. Okay. Which helps. Right, so character sheet aside for now, and I'm a little bit askew on my camera today. I don't know, it looks okay. Yeah, it'll be okay. I just don't seem to get a consistent look for my shots now, because I'm always moving the camera and I'm changing the zoom, and because I don't have a permanent filming location for these things. Well, if I had a bigger house, I could have had a room dedicated to making videos. Anyway, no such luck. Right, so, yes, map is ready. Dice ready. The walk to Port Blacksand takes you west some 50 miles across plains and over hills, fortunately without any harmful encounters. Eventually, you reach the coast and see the high city walls surrounding Port Blacksand and a cluster of buildings projecting into the sea like an ugly black mark. Ships lie anchored in the harbour and smoke rises gently from chimneys. It looks peaceful enough, and it is only when the wind changes that you smell the decay in the breeze to remind you of the evil nature of this notorious place. Yeah, because it is by the smell that you can tell, isn't it? Mm. I'm sure London was quite a nice place at some point, and it stank. Okay. Anyway, following the dusty road north along the coast to the city gates, you begin to notice fearful warnings. Skulls on wooden spikes, starving men in iron cages suspended from the city wall, and black flags everywhere. As you approach the main gate, a chill runs down your spine, and you instinctively grip the hilt of your broadsword for reassurance. At the gate, you are confronted by a tall guard wearing a black chainmail coat and iron helmet. He steps forward, barring the way with his pike and saying, "Who would enter Port Blacksand uninvited? State the nature of your business or go back the way you came." Will you? Tell him you wish to be taken to Nicodemus. Tell him you wish to sell some stolen booty, or attack him quickly with your sword. Now, last time I did... I told him I wanted to see Nicodemus, and then I bribed him. This time I'll try something else. Well, yes, I want to try something else this time. First, I'm going to tell him I wish to be taken to Nicodemus. I'm a bit curious to see what happens. So, the guard replies that he will send for an escort to take you to Nicodemus. He reaches up to a small bell on the wall on the guardhouse and rings it 3 times. Almost immediately, 2 other guards come running out of the house, and you are surprised when they each grab hold of one of your arms. The guard with a pike looks up to the sky and laughs, saying, "So you want to see Nicodemus, do you? How would you like to see the inside of a dungeon cell instead? Guards, take this fool away to be shackled and throw away the key." Will you? Allow yourself to be taken away, attempt to fight the guards, or try to bribe the guards? Okay, so I tried bribing them last time. They let me off, and I had less money, and the money seems to be very important. So I'm going to allow myself to be taken away this time, just to see what happens. So I'm going to allow myself to be taken away. There we are. The 2 guards lead you into the guardhouse and take you immediately downstairs to the cells below. There are 4 cells, and all are empty except for one, which houses a frail, white-haired old man. The guards unlock the cell next to the old man's and throw you in, placing your sword on a table outside. The only contents of the cell are a straw mattress and a pail of water. The guards go back upstairs, and as they disappear, the old man gets up off his bed and starts to speak. "You're an outsider, aren't you? Don't reply, it's obvious. Do you want me to set you free? Give me 10 gold pieces and I'll have you out in 5 minutes. The old man then puts his arm through the bars of your cell with the palm of his hand upturned. If you wish to give the old man 10 gold, turn to 351. If you'd rather ignore the old man, turn to 29. So, basically now, I paid 10 gold to bribe the guards last time, and now I'm given the option of paying this old man 10 gold as well. So, potato, I suppose. 29. Ignore or 10 gold. Okay. I don't really want to pay him 10 gold, so I'll just ignore him and see what happens. You squat down on the mattress and consider what to do next. If you wish to feign illness and throw the iron pail against the bars of the cell to attract the guard's attention, turn to 143. If you wish to inspect the cell closely in the hope of finding a secret escape route, turn to 230. So either feign illness or... So 143, illness, or 230. Examine cell. I'm going to examine the cell, see what I can find. You scratch around in the cracks in the wall and find a loose stone. The old man watches intently as you pull the stone out of the wall. Peering into the hole, you see an iron key. You place it in the lock of your cell and are amazed to feel it turn. Add 1 luck point. Is it even possible to have lost a luck point by now? I mean, if you can't have lost one, then why are you given one? Anyway. With the cell door open, you put the key back in the hole in the wall and replace the stone. You leave your cell and pick up your sword off the table. Then you call out to the guards, telling them that you think they're stupid and you have seen more life on a troll's breakfast plate than in them. Why would you do that? Well, I suppose to get them to quickly provoke the guards, rush down the stairs, and are surprised to see you waiting for them. Sword drawn, you fight them one at a time. So, couldn't I just have fought them in the first place? Of course, if I fought them earlier, I would have had to fight the tall guy as well. So I suppose this is easier. So 230 leads to, so that's an escape route actually, and then it is 6, 7, and 7, 5. I'm fighting. And if I win, so obviously there's no need to pay the old man in that case, because I suppose the result would have been the same. He would have found me one of the keys that for some bizarre reason are hidden in the cells, and I would have just been 10 gold short. But I might as well just have fought them in the beginning, but oh well. So, first battle of the day. Maybe I should start at the bottom, because it's usually, sometimes I don't make enough space for items. I'll just start down here. So my skill is 11, stamina is 17, and they are skill 6, stamina 6, skill 7, stamina 5, and is 1 at a time. Okay, so just to run through the combat system very quickly, because I always do this. When you have a combat, you have 2 stats that are important in combat: it's skill and stamina. When you have combat, you sometimes you have to fight more than one at the same time. That's slightly different, but in this case, I'm doing 1 at a time. So I'm starting with the first one and then doing the second one. So like 2 separate combats, really. First, I take my opponent's skill, which is 6, and I add 2 dice. That's 7, so that's 13 total, which is his attack roll. And I do the same for myself. I've got a skill of 11, and I add 8, that's 19. Whoever has the higher attack roll is the one that injures his opponent. So I have the higher one, and I do 2 damage to his stamina. I like calling it hit points in combat because it just feels right. If the number is the same, then nobody injures anyone because you just parry each other's attack. You're quite equal. So, and that's how it goes. It is also possible to use luck to either do more damage, but of course if you fail that luck roll, then of course you do less. And you can also use luck to prevent damage, but if you fail that, you actually get injured more. So it comes with a risk, like lots of luck rolls do. Next round, of course, I roll for him first. So he's got skill of 6. He rolls 7, so that's a total of 13. My skill is 11. I roll 10, so that's 21, and he is down to 2 hit points. And last round, he rolls a 7. I roll a 9, so he is dead. Second one's got a skill of 7. He rolls an 8. I roll a 7, so he is down to 3 hit points. He rolls a 5. I roll a 3. That's still better than him, so he's down to 1 hit point. He rolls a 6. I roll 6, and he is also dead. Excuse me. I win, and I climb the stairs. Okay. You search the guardhouse and find 2 gold pieces and a merchant's pass, permitting the holder to trade in poured black sand. Okay, brilliant. Because because last time I got into a scuffle with some guards because I didn't have a pass or any sort of permit for being in the city. Merchants pass. Okay, let's see. So 54. So that's 2 gold pieces and pass. The guard at the main gate does not see you when you walk into the city. So I suppose this is actually the better beginning because I only have to fight 2 guards. I get 2 gold pieces. I get a merchant's pass. All seems well. Okay, so go into the city, and 74 is over there. I've been 74 before. So let's see. Through the main gates, you see that the rubbish-filled streets of the port are narrow and cobbled. Old and decrepit buildings line them closely, with their upper stories overhanging menacingly. You may go west down Key Street, that's what I did last time. Head north along Market Street, or go east down Clock Street. Now, I went down Key Street last time. I did check out most of it, and I can't remember if there seemed to be anything there really worth getting. There were some brooches that gave you luck, and something that gave you a curse as well. But otherwise, I don't think that didn't seem like there was anything essential there. So maybe I'll head north along Market Street. I mean, there might be shops there. They might have something useful. It's called Market Street after all. Although maybe it will make it harder for me to decide how to spend my money. But I do have... Oh, I just remembered why I need to get my old character sheet. Because... Well, that's not it. In my last playthrough, I found Nicodemus, and he told me of some items I needed. So just excuse me for a few moments while I have a look. I use these notebooks for absolutely all kinds of stuff. So it's full of character sheets. It's I also do the the online quiz. Now let's see. I'm working on the yes, here it is. Okay. So, well, that's the wrong side. There we are. Okay. So the things I need to get in order to win the game, that's my shopping list, as it were, that I got from Nicodemus. I need to get a silver arrow. I need to get a black pearl. I know where to get that. I need to get hag's hair, a lotus flower, and I need to get a tattoo with something with a white unicorn inside a yellow sun or something like that. Those are the essential items that I will need, and I still don't know where to get them. And I presume that most of those things I will get after speaking to Nicodemus, but there might still be some things on the way here that might help me get those things. So anyway, just keep that around so I don't forget what I'm looking for. Right. And I know where to get a silver arrow as well. But at the time I found it, I didn't have any money, was it? Anyway. Right, where was I? I was going to go on Market Street, 116, yes. So walking north, oh, excuse me, I think I need to go down a little bit like that. Okay. Oh, sorry. Why does that always happen? Anyway, walking north along the street, you see the entrance to a small herbalist shop to your left. Looking through the window, you see a wooden counter with a pair of scales upon it, and many sacks of different herbs crowding the floor. There is a small archway leading out of the back of the shop to another room. There is an open sign on the door, but the shop is empty. If you wish to enter the shop, turn to 250. If you'd rather continue walking north up Market Street, turn to 93. So, we've got shop. 250 herbalists, or keep going. So 93 north. Well, I'm checking out most of the shops now because even if I don't find anything useful there, or if it's a trap or something, at least I'll know a little bit more for next time. And it looks like this might take a few tries. A small bell rings as a door opens and a creature wearing a brown apron over his clothing hurries through the archway through the back room into the shop to stand behind the counter. He appears human-like and has very ugly facial features and pointed teeth. You realize he is a crossbreed, half man, half orc. A sharp hand axe hangs from his belt to remind you that Port Blacksand is unlikely to be a friendly place in which to do business. Will you inquire about the herbs, ask if the man-orc knows of Nicodemus, or attack the man-orc? Not going to attack him, although that might actually be the right option sometimes. I'm going to ask about his herbs, so I'm going to go to 183. Oh, let's see. So there's 342. Ask about Nicodemus. I don't need to ask about Nicodemus because I sort of know where to find him now. Attack or inquire. 183 inquire. Okay. So I'm going to ask about the herbs. You are told that smoking mixture and a pipe costs 1 gold piece, and healing mixture costs 4 gold pieces per portion. You may buy some smoking mixture, buy some healing mixture, or leave the shop and head north. You know what? 1 gold piece. I'll buy smoking mixture. This could come in useful someday. So I got smoking mixture. 31 gold left. Oh, there's actually references for these. We'll continue north. Okay, so we go. I'll just do like that then, in that case. So 366 smoking, 167 healing, 193 go north. So I'm going to do 366 because I bought some smoking mixture. You pay for the smoking mixture and leave the shop. Outside, you pack your pipe with the smoking mixture and light it. The smoke is dark and dark and tastes awful. You start to cough and your chest is gripped by a terrible pain. You lose 2 stamina points. Well, there's your anti-smoking advert for the day. Let's see, down to 15. So, kids, if you read this, don't smoke. Okay. You are unable to stop coughing, so you sit down on the street and try to calm down. You slump down against a wall between 2 barrels and gradually the coughing subsides. If you want to go back to the herbalist to complain, turn to 101. If you'd rather walk north again, turn to 93. Okay, so... or I can... 101 complain, so... I'm going to go back and complain because that's not good stuff, is it? You enter the shop and see the man-orc standing behind the counter. He is smiling at your misfortune and says, can't even take old Trollborn. I don't think I'm going to give you your money back. You wish to attack the impudent man-orc, turn to 5. If you'd rather leave the shop and head north again, containing your anger, turn to 93. So, again, 93 an option there. And attack is also an option. He is quite impudent, isn't he? I normally wouldn't do this, but I'm going to attack this guy because, yeah, it's being annoying now. Oh, it's quite strong as well. Drawing your sword, you leap over the counter to attack the man-orc, who swiftly grabs his hand axe. You soon realize that the man-orc has used his weapon before. So I've got 11-15. And he has got 8-5. So again, we roll for him first. So he rolls 11. And I roll 9, so that is actually my hit. It's down to 3 hit points. He rolls a 10. I roll an 8. That is my hit again. He rolls 6, and I roll 7, so he is dead. Okay, that went rather well. If you win, turn to 371. Okay, so this is again making my map messy as I would normally expect. Let's see, I'm going to go past that. So that is 371 win. At the back room of the shop, you find a glass jar on a dusty shelf labeled healing mixture. If you wish to apply some of it to your wounds, I don't have any. Turn to 83. If you'd rather continue searching the shop, turn to 322. Okay, so I'm going to continue searching 322 and 83. Use healing. I do have some heal. Well, I do have some healing. I got two 8 points down, aren't I? So I'll just go try the healing mixture in that case. Fortunately, the contents of the jar are as the label reads, although the strength of the mixture is unpredictable. Roll 1 die. The number rolled is the number of stamina points and will be restored. 2. That's all I need. Okay, 17 again. Okay. If you wish to continue searching the shop, turn to 322. Okay, so 322. Or if you rather leave the shop, go to 93. So again, 93 is an option there. And my map is getting very convoluted. So I'm going to continue searching the shop. You walk back into the shop behind the counter. You find a small wooden money box. Inside it are 11 gold pieces. So I'm up to 42. Okay, which you put in your backpack. Into your backpack. You decide that it's time to leave the shop and head north. Turn to 93. So we found 11 gold pieces, and then we go to 93. I think that was quite a successful trip, even though I had to kill someone. On the right-hand side of the street, you see a tavern called the Spotted Dog. If you wish to enter the tavern, turn to 62. If you'd rather continue north, turn to 296. So we have either enter the tavern, I'll put that there. So that is 62. Or continue north. I'll move that up there, 296. North. Okay, so tavern. Taverns can always be much fun. There's always some danger as well, which is fun. Lots of options here. 5. Oh, usually there's no more than 4, so that's quite a good one. The old wooden doors open into a dingy, smoke-filled room. There are 8 round tables in the center of the room with some of the most mean and shifty-looking rogues you've ever seen sitting at them. At the back of the tavern is a long wooden bar covered with bottles and mugs. Behind the bar stands the innkeeper wearing a grubby apron. He is quite old, bald, and has an ugly black scar running down his right cheek. So probably in this city he would be in his 40s, I guess. Not all the customers are human. Well, why would they be? Will you walk to the bar to talk to the innkeeper, sit down at a table with 3 dwarfs who are playing a dice game, sit down at a table with 2 goblins who are arguing, sit down with 3 men who are sticking daggers quickly between their fingers on the table. I know what that is. Leave the tavern and walk north. Okay, so we've got options. 296, that's fine. But also I think I'll move them down here actually. 1, 2, 3, and 4. But then I can do Clock Street sort of, yeah. Well, if I ever get to Clock Street. So tavern down there and gives us these. additional options. And my recorder is still recording. I think I'm way over the time that it says in the manual I'm supposed to get out of one battery. Oh well. Anyway, so 136 bar 173 dice game. Of course, that's a way to lose or win money, I guess. And 22 goblins and 190 dagger game. So obviously the dagger game, I would say it would use skill. My skill is 11, so I would stand quite a good chance of getting that. Dice game, of course, that's just dice rolling, I presume, and of course it's just the luck of the roll. I'm not sure if you're allowed to try to cheat or anything. That's always a bit risky, but I'm going to try the sit down with the 3 men who are sticking daggers quickly between their fingers, because my skill is 11, so I would stand quite a good chance of getting something out of that. So I'll start with that. Sitting down at the table, the men invite you to join in their game of pin finger. You feel obliged to accept their challenge and take hold of a dagger offered to you. The men tell you that you must stick the point of the dagger back and forth between your fingers into the tabletop as fast as you can for a minute. If you manage not to stab yourself, they will give you a magic item. If you do stab yourself, you must give them 5 gold pieces. Also, I probably would lose skill because I hurt my hand. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is less than or equal to your skill score, you succeed. Okay, so I'm just to test skill, really. So test skill. That doesn't seem like there's any ill effects. Oh, hang on. That's the only thing I'm allowed to do in this tavern. Okay, so I can only do one thing then. So I'm testing my skill. I'm rolling anything but a 12. 5. There we are. So okay, so then the next up is down there in that case. So succeed. 38. Success. Okay, let's see what they've got for me. One of the men reaches into a pocket inside his green jacket and produces a thin silver bracelet. He gives it to you, and you see the outline of an insect etched into its surface. The man explains that the insect bracelet has the power to kill even giant insects. That would have been so useful last time. So maybe I'll check out the centipede again so I can have my revenge on him. After placing the bracelet on your wrist, you leave the tavern and head north again. So I've got the bracelet of insect control, or whatever it is, control. Okay. And 296. Okay, so no option of doing any of the other things, which makes me more curious now what the other things actually are and what happens, because sometimes you're given the option of doing lots of things in one place, but when you can only do one, then you'll wonder if you've made the right choice. Right, so excuse me. Nice bright sunny day today. I'm not sure if you can see so much of the sunlight coming in here because I've closed the blinds. And you can hear the birds singing outside too, probably, in this sound recording, because it is quite sensitive, so there should be some of that in the background. Anyway, I'll have to have a sip of water as well before I continue north, because, as you know, wandering through Port Blacksand, or indeed going anywhere in the fighting fantasy worlds, it's quite thirsty work. Yeah, there's sunlight there. Okay. Right. 296. And lots of options that could lead to other interesting conclusions as well. Walking towards you down the street are 2 men wearing black robes which cover them completely except for their eyes. On seeing you, they nod at each other and draw their swords. They are thieves, hoping to rob you of your possessions, and you must defend yourself. Fight them one at a time. So, okay, so thieves, 7/7 and 8/6. Quite good fighters, then. I suppose if my skill hadn't been so good, I would have been in trouble. Famous last words again. Right, so my stamina is 11. Let's see, 11/17. And I've now got a 7/7 and an 8/6. Starting with a 7/7, so I've got a 4-point lead on skill. He rolls 5, I roll an 8, so that is me hitting him. He rolls a 7, I roll a 6, he's down to 3 hit points. He rolls a 5, I roll an 11, he's down to 1 hit point. He rolls a 7 and I roll an 8 and he's dead. Second one, I got a 3-point advantage on skill. He rolls a 9, no, sorry, an 8, and I roll a 9. It's down to 4 hit points. He rolls a 7, and I roll a 6. He's down to 2 hit points. He rolls 10, and I roll a 7. So that is a draw. He rolls an 8, I roll a 9, and he is also dead. Foolish thieves. Didn't know who they were messing with, did they? Okay. Right, so I won, and I go to... that's a big mix of blue and black here, but that's okay. So I'm just picking up a random pen sometimes. 147, so that's 147 win. A search through the leather bags of the thieves produces 16 gold pieces. So I'm now up to 58 gold pieces. I'm feeling rich now. And a glass vial containing a green liquid. If you wish to drink the liquid, turn to 338. That green liquids are poison, aren't they? So if you'd rather just take the gold and press on northwards, turn to 105. So I've got green liquid, 338 green liquid. I'm going to just go north again. So now we are 105 north. Most of the houses in the street are joined in the long terrace, but you see one on the left side that stands alone and is set back. There appears to be a large wooden kennel outside the heavy oak front door. If you wish to approach the front door, turn to 64. If you wish to keep walking north, turn to 304. So... so 64 or go north 304 north. Okay, I'm going to check it out, of course, because I'm checking out everything now, pretty much. You hear growls and loud barking coming from inside the kennel, and suddenly an enormous black wolf rushes out of the kennel straight at you. A long chain is attached to its collar, and this may stop it from reaching you. Test your luck. So, luck throw. And of course, first time I'm testing luck now, I'll just tell you how it's done. You've got a luck score that you established in the beginning, minus 10. When you test your luck, you're not just rolling, comparing it to your luck. That's a different thing. It's a very specific thing. In the text, it says in italics, test your luck. You try to roll, you roll 2 dice, and if it's equal to or less than your luck, then you succeed and you're lucky, and if it's higher than you're unlucky, and something bad usually happens. And regardless of whether you're successful or not, your luck is then reduced by 1. So I'm rolling 12, so I'm unlucky, and my luck goes down to 9 for next time, because that gives me the possibility of increasing my luck in some ways rather. So if you're unlucky, the chain remains slack and the wolf leaps. Let's see. Yes. So I'm trying to do 353 if I'm lucky. Let's see, where am I now? So 64 test luck. And unlucky. 309. Lucky. 353. Okay, so I lose 1 stamina, so that's down to 16 now. And I go to 309. You shake the wolf off your arm and draw your sword. The wolf snarls and leaps at you again. So I'm fighting the wolf. 5/5. So I've got a 6-point advantage on my skill, so that's pretty good. He rolls a 2, I roll an 8, so he's down to 3. He rolls a 9, I roll a 6, so he's down to 1 hit point, and he rolls a 5, I roll a 3, and the wolf is dead. Nice and quick and easy. So win, and I go to 97, win. We decide to take a quick look inside the kennel. Hanging on a hook is an iron key, which you place in your pocket. Add 1 luck point. Okay, there's my luck back again. So 10 and a iron key. No numbered keys in this one. I like numbered keys. They're more fun. You know they're special. And 10 to 353. Okay, so... Ah, yes, that's it. That's the arrow there, and then this one goes the other way there. Okay, so basically, now I'm getting to the point where I would have got if I was lucky previously. Would have just skipped fighting the wolf altogether. You try to turn the large brass handle on the door, but it is locked. If you have an iron key, that's a bit cheesy, isn't it? Yeah. You find the key. Oh, there's a keyhole right there. It's a bit quick. Anyway, turn to 181. If you do not, you may either try to force the door open or return to the street. Oh yeah, that means that actually if you are lucky, you won't be able to open the door. Oh, you will have to force the door open. So if you're unlucky and you have to fight the wolf, then you get the key and then you can unlock the door. That's quite interesting. Interesting little twist. I quite like that. That's quite cunning. I mean, game book wise. So you may return to the street, and so that is 304. That's over there. Or you may force the door. 389. Force door. Or unlock it with a key. 181. Key. Okay. I got the key. I'll unlock the door. Because now I was unlucky when I got the key, so maybe there'll be something bad inside, but we'll see. The key fits the lock and the handle turns. Turn to 159. Okay, so I'll go to 159. The owner of the house is obviously quite wealthy. Lavish furnishing and fine objets d'art adorn the marble-floored room in which you stand. An archway leads into a back room, and stairs to your right lead up to another floor. You search the room you're in, walk through the archway, or climb the stairs. I'm going to climb the stairs. Let's see, I'm going to go down this way here on my map now. So 60. Let's do it like that, actually. 107 archway, stairs, or 278 search. So I'm going to go up the stairs this time. At the top of the stairs, you reach a landing with 2 closed doors. As you are deciding which door to enter, you hear a noise from downstairs. Somebody is entering the front door. Then you hear a man's voice saying, "Off you fly, my little beauty. Find the intruder." If you wish to draw your sword in readiness, turn to 349. If you would rather make a break for it, you may jump out of the window at the head of the landing into the street below. Okay, that's an interesting way to do it, isn't it? So I've got the option of So if I searched downstairs, I would have met them immediately, I guess. So that is like so. So 349. Sword. 192. Escape. Now, I'm good at fighting this time, so I don't have to avoid combat so much. So I'm going to draw my sword and get ready. Ooh, quite a strong one as well. Suddenly you are confronted by a small winged creature, no more than a meter in length, hovering before you. It is red in color and has two horns protruding from its head and a small tail hanging down from its back. It will be difficult to defeat as it flies quickly about your head, spitting fire at you. Fire Imp, skill 9, stamina 4. So this is quite a strong creature, actually. Actually, I shouldn't really use the word escape there because it's a specific game feature as well as get away. I always call that get away. Although this is technically the escape route as well. So that's the escape route there. And then it's winning, it's 258. Wait, okay, so I'm sort of used to thinking of imps as quite weak creatures, but this one is quite a strong one. I suppose it's a combination of it's not a very strong per se. It's got stamina of 4, but the thing is, it breathes fire and he is very quick. So I suppose you sort of add those things together, and it then makes sense to give him a skill of 9 because that's how difficult it is to defeat him, not because it's technically that strong. So my skill and stamina now 11, 16. Let's see, I'll just do like this now. So I'm got 11, 16. 16 and he is 9, 4. So I'm only got a 2 skill advantage this time. So he rolls a 12 and I roll an 8, so that he draws first blood or first scorch, I suppose it could be. First, I don't know, it's got quite sharp claws as well. So yeah. He rolls a 5, I roll a 9, so he's down to 2 hit points. He rolls a 9 and I roll 5, so he is down, I'm down to 12. He rolls a 12 again, and I roll a 2. Ooh, terrible, terrible. He rolls a 2 and I roll a 9. Okay, so he is dead. Oof, yes. So I win, and there's still the other guy to contend with as well. So let's see what happens. Stepping over the fire imp, you walk back to the stairs to see if its master is still in the house. I'm a bit curious about that because what kind of person has an imp? Sort of magicians and wizards and warlocks and things, isn't it? You descend the stairs slowly, sword drawn. When you reach the bottom, you're somewhat surprised to see a fat man, richly dressed, sitting in an ornate chair, looking directly at you. He appears very relaxed, quite unperturbed by a drawn sword. Then he speaks slowly and coldly, saying, "For killing my pet, you shall pay with your life." He raises his right hand in the air, and from his outstretched fingers shoot ragged white bolts of lightning. If you are wearing an ivory skull around your neck, turn to 318. If you do not have this item, turn to 47. At this moment, I do feel like I should have had an ivory skull around my neck. Which is probably another item I'm able to procure in the bar. Now, I'm thinking now, because of the way the dagger game, I wasn't winning money. Maybe in the dice game, you might be able to win something as well. Anyway, but regardless what it is, I think this is an encounter that I definitely did not want to get to. So, ivory skull, question mark. And then there is yes, in which case I could have gone to 318. Or no, Uh, 47. No. Okay. The lightning bolt slams into your chest and knocks you to the floor. You lose 3 stamina points. I don't have that much to lose now. I'm down to 10, so, and then I'm down to, oops, sorry, that's the wrong one, that's 10. So -3 is 7. If you're still alive, you see the fat man roaring with laughter. Perhaps he is off his guard. You decide to throw your sword at him from your prone position. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is less than or equal to your skill score, the sword pierces the chest of the man and kills him. Oh my. Now that would be quite a feat. I actually would have given myself a little negative bonus for that if I was to do that. Okay, so right, so test skill and stamina -3. Okay. So I'm testing skill, and if I am successful, that's 81. So if I fail, I've actually lost my sword as well. That doesn't sound like a very good idea. 313 is success. Oh, fail. Okay. So I have to roll not a 12. 10. That will do. That will do. So that's a success. And I'm going to 313. Okay. You retrieve your sword from the dead man's chest and hurry out of the house. Why? So nothing interesting then. Lots of interesting things. You must have lots of money. Relieved to be in the open air again, you set off north, turn to 304. Ah, I was hoping there'd be something interesting in there. It's just a complete waste of time then. At least I know it's a complete waste of time, so... although there might be, of course, be something interesting if you search. No, I sort of somehow doubt it. I think there's going to be a complete waste of time. So 304, go north. Okay. Do I have any more tea left? Nope, I'm out of tea. Let's drink a little bit of water. So my phone is finished charging. I got an email, probably nothing important. Nope, nothing important. Let's see. Okay. 304. Okay. You arrive at a four-way junction in the street. The street leading west is called Key Street, and the street leading east is called Clock Street. Yes, because this is the junction at the sort of top where there's 3 streets. There's one on the west, one in the middle, one on the right. And they converge again up here. And does that mean I can go... yeah, you can't actually go anywhere else but ahead. Okay, so 304, you can get to 148. So yes, ahead you see that Market Street continues north, and a crowd of people are walking up it, cheering loudly and waving their arms in the air. You decide to follow them. Turn to 148. So it is where all the paths converge here at number 148. And I'm still not sure. I got lots of gold though. I mean, I didn't get... don't have the smoking mixture anymore. And I got the bracelet of insect control, which possibly might only be useful in one place, which is somewhere I might not even need to go. Anyway, so much stuff going on in this one, so it's right. As you catch up with the chanting crowd, you see that they are carrying eggs and rotten tomatoes. Soon the street opens out into a large market square. All around the edge are stalls with vendors, hawkers, musicians, and entertainers carrying on their business. In the middle of the square is an elevated pillory. Above the noise of the crowd is trumpet sounds, and the crowd starts to pelt the man in the pillory with rotten food. An old woman standing next to you offers you 2 eggs to throw. Not wishing to appear to be an outsider, you take the eggs and hurl them. But as you do so, the old woman picks your pocket without you noticing. Lose 1 gold piece and any one item you may have. And wherever you lost, you walk away from the crowd to look at the various stalls. Now, actually, I didn't say specifically that I left the key to the house when I used it, so I'm going to remove the iron key from my inventory now. Unaware of your loss, you walk away from the crowd to look at the various stalls. Turn to 287. Okay, so 287, I've been there before again. Let's see, so 287. The food stalls are selling fruit, vegetables, meat and hot soup, corn and chestnuts for hungry shoppers. You may eat some hot food if you wish. Pay 1 gold piece and increase your stamina by 2 points. Well, I may as well just eat provisions, actually, so... so I need 10. So actually, if I eat 2 provisions and I spend 1 gold piece, I will have full stamina again. Walking north along the west side of the square, you see a man dressed in purple velvet playing a lyre. If you wish to stop and listen, turn to 3. If you'd rather walk past him. Okay, so... he could give me luck, couldn't he? Okay, so... okay. So I don't need to go to him this time. 398. So he restores luck with his music. A small circle of people is standing around a bare-chested man. He is enormous and his muscles look as hard as iron. He's asking the crowd for a volunteer to play catch with a cannonball. He states that whoever drops the cannonball must pay the other 5 gold pieces. If you wish to take him on it, his game, turn to 378. If you rather walk on, turn to 52. So is that going to be a skill check, maybe? Maybe I'll try that. I'll just try that. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? Okay, roll 1 die alternately for yourself and for the bare-chested man to represent the cannonball passing between you. Repeat this process until the 1 is thrown, in which case the cannonball will have been dropped and the loser must pay the winner 5 gold pieces. After finishing the game, you walk on a bit further. Turn to 52. Okay, so... okay, so... so I'm starting with myself, and I roll... so, me, him, me, him, me. I dropped it. 5 gold pieces. Easy come, easy go. 52 gold left, and I go to 52. That's all the 52s. Right. Behind the next stall is a young man selling small weapons and items of equipment. The prices of his wares are chalked up on a slate. Throwing knife, climbing rope, butcher's meat hook, iron spike, and lantern. So, should I just buy all of them? I don't know what I'll need now, so I'll just buy throwing knife and climbing rope. Meat hook. Doesn't sound very useful, but iron spike. Lantern. That is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm down to 40 gold pieces. You then walk north. Go to 200. In the next stall area, there is a small brightly colored tent. Attached to it is a small sign which reads Madam Star, Clairvoyant. If you wish to enter the tent, turn to 394. If you'd rather continue north, turn to 117. She's probably going to try to steal my money, isn't she? I'll enter the tent and have a look. 394. Might be useful. Sitting behind a small table is a plump woman wearing bright yellow clothes and a shawl over her head. She smiles as you enter, bidding you to sit down. She tells you that a glimpse of the future will cost you 2 gold pieces. If you wish to pay to hear her predictions, turn to 368. If you would rather carry on unaided, leave the tent and head north. Okay, so unaided has a strange expression for it. At least if you just leave without paying, you don't get cursed or anything. I'll pay her 2 gold pieces because she might have a clue to something. 368. Or it might be a red herring. Looking into a crystal... Oh, that's useless. Looking into a crystal ball, she seems to go into a trance. She tells you that you are searching for a man, a wise man with magical powers. She pauses for a moment and then draws in a deep breath before going on to tell you that the man you are looking for lives in a hut beneath the bridge to the north. Well, I knew that already, but... She warns you to be careful when approaching the man, for he does not welcome strangers. Then she looks away from the crystal ball and asks you to leave. Her face seems to be hiding something. Has she seen some dreadful fate awaiting you? Quite likely. You decide to leave the tent and head north. Okay, so that was no use at all, really. So minus 2 gold pieces. And this is no use as long as you know where you're going to find Nicodemus, which I do. And of course, it's very hard not to find out on your first or few tries, I guess. If you haven't found him the first time, you definitely will the second time. 117. At the end of the market, a street named Bridge Street runs north out of the square. You decide to walk down it in the hope of finding the elusive Nicodemus. It starts to rain and the tumble-down houses huddled together on either side of the street look as if they need shelter themselves. Most have their windows boarded up and are empty. The door to one flaps noisily in the wind. If you wish to take refuge in the derelict house until the rain stops, turn to 188. Now we've got a red mark on 188, which means do not do that. I can't remember what that was now. You'd rather press on ahead, turn to 31. So yeah, okay, yeah, because the if you go to 188 and take refuge, then you have this this little sort of circuit of stuff going on here, and there's some monster, I can't remember which now, and you still go back to 31 anyway, so it is just a waste of time and health, potentially. Ahead you see a wooden bridge stretching over a dirty river. Various bits of rubbish are floating down to the sea on its black surface, and you squirm at the sight of a human hand passing by. The bridge supports and columns reach high above, and you see skulls, both human and non-human, tied to them. The wind makes an eerie noise as it whistles through the bridge structures, reminding you of tortured souls crying out for help. Almost hidden from view is a small flight of steps going down underneath the bridge from where you are standing. A one-legged man carrying a sack is crossing the bridge from the northern bank. If you wish to climb down the steps, turn to 329. If you wish to wait to talk to the man, turn to 364. And I am actually on my second page of my map. And if I talk to the man, he just tells me that the guy lives under the stairs, and he takes some gold. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go under the stairs right away, because that is where Nicodemus lives. And oh yeah, this is Nicodemus here. The smell by the water's edge is terrible. Above you hear the sound of footsteps crossing the wooden bridge. Built into the foundations of the bridge is a wooden hut. Drawn curtains obstruct your view into the hut, but you know you are not welcome when you read the words "Keep Out" painted on the door in large red letters. You draw in a deep breath and knock on the door. You hear muttering and the shuffling of feet, and suddenly the door is thrown open. Before you stands a white-haired old man with a long beard, wearing long white robes. He looks at you sternly and says, "Explain yourself to Nicodemus." You are elated at finding Nicodemus and tell him about Zanbar Bone's reign of terror in the town of Silverton, and why Owen Carolith asks you to find his old friend to help them. Nicodemus frowns and walks back inside his hut, telling you to follow him. He sits down in a rocking chair and starts to speak in a calm voice. "I am old and tired and wish for no more adventure. I'll live here under Singing Bridge in Port Blacksand to escape the pleas for aid from people fallen on hard times. Hence, no one bothers me, but I do wish to help my old friend Owen. I will tell you how to defeat the Night Prince, Zanbar Bone. Listen carefully. I'm just going to do my normal voice now because that's too much work. Remember, you may defeat him only after sunset. Only after sunset. Yes, so clue number 1. Only after sunset. So after sunset. In daylight hours, he exists on another plane, so I suppose you wouldn't even see him unless it's after sunset then. No doubt he will have his servants to protect him, but should you get past them, you will need something special to deal with Bone himself. To protect yourself from his entrancing stare, you must have a white unicorn and a yellow sun tattooed on your forehead. So tattoo, unicorn, sun. Normal weapons, forehead. Normal weapons will not harm him. First, you must shoot him through the heart with a silver arrow. Silver arrow. This will paralyze him but not kill him. Then you must quickly rub the ground compound of black pearl, hag's hair, and lotus flower. Black pearl, hag's hair, lotus flower. In his open eyes. With luck, he will decay before you in seconds. If your arrow misses, I'm afraid you will die the moment he touches you. Okay. The items for the compound can all be found in Port Blacksand if you search hard enough. Yeah, thanks. I regret I cannot accompany you. Nicodemus then draws you a map of how to reach Zanbar Bone's guarded tower from Port Blacksand. He stands up, shakes your hand, and wishes you well. You leave his hut, climb the steps, and cross the bridge over Catfish River. Bridge Street continues north a short distance before ending at a junction. Catfish River. I've seen Catfish River, some other game book actually. If you wish to walk west down Harbour Street, turn to 91. If you wish to turn east down Candle Street, turn to 238. So, in order to get the Black Pearl, I have to go down Harbour Street. So I presume that is the correct way to go. So I'm walking west down Harbour Street again. You pass a beggar in the street. He is sitting in the gutter and holds an empty tin in his hand. You should toss a gold piece into his tin, turn to 332. Well, I can do that now. I can afford it, so I'll do that. Although nothing good might come of it. If you would rather walk past him, turn to 124. So I'm going to give him a gold piece because I wanted to do that last time. I didn't have any money. I was really struggling with my cash flow last time. The beggar tips his hat in gratitude and mumbles a few words. Add 1 luck point before continuing. Okay, so that is useful. So that's +1 luck, -1 gold piece. And then you continue. Okay, so that's a nice way to regain 1 luck point if you can. If you need to, that is. A narrow alleyway runs south of the street between 2 houses. If you wish to walk down the alleyway, turn to 326. If you'd rather continue along Harbour Street, turn to 180. Now, the alleyway was something about some kind of battle there. I didn't make a proper note of it on my map. There was something about whether I had flowers or not at some point there. So I don't know what's going on there. I'll have to find out some other time. So I'm going to continue down Harbour Street, so 180. Ahead, you hear the noisy clatter of galloping hooves on the cobblestones. You hear the noise of wooden wheels and an urging voice followed by the crack of a whip. Someone is rapidly approaching in a horse-drawn carriage. If you wish to see who it is, turn to 344. If you would rather hide out of the sight behind a barrel and watch the carriage pass by, turn to 34. Now, if you wait, this guy, who was it called again? Some kind of head honcho, one of the head honchos of Port Blacksand. Or maybe the head honcho. Anyway, I'll just hide actually this time. Let's see what happens. The carriage thunders by and you see its driver, urging on the 4 horses as though his life depended on it. As the noise of the carriage fades into the distance, you step out onto the street and continue west. So just go there. Now, if you wait, you can sort of give the option of stepping aside or waiting in the road, and yes, and you can get trampled by the horse. Great fun. Great fun, great fun. Let's see. The street gradually starts to run downhill. The houses end at a tavern called the Black Lobster, and the street opens out onto a quayside. A stone jetty runs out to sea, and tied to it is an old galleon. It is flying the skull and crossbones, and is probably, let's see, and it's probably one of the many pirate ships that anchor in Port Blacksand to offload their booty. Harbour Street turns right at the jetty and runs north parallel to the shore as far as you can see. If you wish to walk down the jetty to climb on board the ship, turn to 399. If you wish to walk north up Harbour Street, turn to 78. I'm going to go aboard the ship because that's where I find the Black Pearl, which is the name of another ship, actually. A rope ladder hangs down from the stern of the ship to the jetty. There is also a gangplank leading up the side of the ship. If you wish to board the ship by climbing the rope ladder, turn to 87, which involved some testing of luck. I don't want to test my luck too much, but I want to. That's 10, by the way, because I want to save it for special occasions. So maybe I should just try to walk straight up the gangplank this time. That's what I'll do. So 294. Okay, so at the top of the gangplank stands one of the ship's crew. On seeing you, he draws his cutlass and tells you to get off the ship. Oi, get off my ship. If you wish to walk back down the gangplank, or arr, get off my ship. If you wish to walk back down the gangplank along the jetty and turn up Harbour Street, turn to 78. So that is 78. Where's 78? There's 78. Okay, so option 78. If you wish to draw your sword to deal with this pirate, turn to 386. Okay, so that is what I'll do. I'll just move that over there. 386 attack. Okay. The pirate seems pleased that you wish to fight him and grins, revealing a toothless mouth which unnerves you a little. Pirate, skill 7, stamina 5. Okay, so another battle. Seems to be plenty of those in this town, because I'm not avoiding them now because I got such a good skill, even though my stamina is a little bit lacking, which is a bit risky. So he is got skill 7, stamina 5. I'm 11, 17 now. Let's do like that. Just cross this one out. So I've got a 4-point skill lead, so he needs to roll 5 more than me to hit me. So he rolls 6. I roll 9. He is down to 3 hit points. He rolls 6. I roll 2, and that is a draw. He rolls 9. I roll 4. That is 5. That's him hitting me, actually. He rolls 5. I roll 7. He is down to 1 hit point. And finally, he rolls 4, and I roll 6, and he is dead. Okay. So my stamina is now 15. If you win, turn to 20. Okay. The pirate's pockets contain... That's a nice alliteration, isn't it? The pirate's pockets. To pick a pirate's pocket. First pack and poke. Yeah, you can do some nice alliteration stuff with that. To pick a pirate's pocket. The pirate's pockets contain nothing apart from a piece of stale bread. Okay, so I'm going to get a stale bread. So I've got stale bread. You leave him to start the search of the wooden boxes and barrels on the ship's deck. Turn to 84. The barrels all contain rotten fruit, and the boxes contain manacles and leg irons. Perhaps this is a slave trading ship. There is nothing else of interest to you on deck. If you wish to walk over to the deck cabin to climb down the stairs to the lower decks, turn to 50. If you'd rather leave the ship, walk back along the jetty, turn left, and walk north up Harbour Street, turn to 78. So I'm going to go into the ship, obviously. Otherwise, what's all this hassle for? The stairs lead down into the ship's cargo hold. It is empty. Opposite you, a corridor leads from the hold to 2 closed doors. You walk along the corridor and listen at the doors. From the door on your left, you hear loud snoring. From the door on your right, you hear nothing. If you wish to open the door on your left, turn to 271. What was the door on the left again? There was a test lock and something. Oh, yes, that's where I'm going actually to. So 271, I'm going left. That's where I find the Black Pearl. Asleep in their bunks, that's this picture here. And, can't see my screen right now. Hang on. Rearrange my window a little bit here. Like so. Okay, so I can see this. So this is, so 3 bunks to the height, which is normal. That's what I had in the Navy as well when I was there. Asleep in the bunks are 3 pirates. The room is small and contains only clothing and a few personal possessions. It looks as if the pirates have been drinking and gambling. Oh, stereotyping of these pirates. There is an uncorked bottle of rum, a mug, and a pack of cards on top of a barrel in the center of the room. You see that one of the pirates is wearing a small leather pouch around his neck. If you wish to creep up and try to cut it loose, turn to 162. If you would rather close the door again and not take any risks, turn to 284. So I'm going to try to cut it loose, of course. 162, that's a lock test. Test your luck. So I've got a luck of 10 and I'm rolling 11. So I did not succeed, and my luck goes down to 9 either way. So unlucky. I was unlucky last time as well, so still I managed. So I had to fight them. That's the only thing really. You managed to break free from the pirates. Hang on. Did I not finish reading the other one now? 162. Hang on. If you're unlucky, the man's eyes flick open as you try to cut the cord, and he grabs hold of your arm while calling out to his mates for help. Sorry about that, I almost forgot to read that. And then you manage to break free from the pirate's grip and draw your sword. You step backwards towards the door as the pirates leap from their bunks to grab their cutlasses. The room is cramped and you fight them one at a time. So we've got 3 of them and 1 of me. And I am currently on 11:15, and I'm fighting, let's see, 7, 4, 5, 4, and a 6, 6 first of all. Okay, so first a 6, 6. So I've got an advantage of 5. He rolls 11, and I roll 4, so that is me getting injured. He rolls 9, I roll 6, so that is me hitting him. He rolls 8. I roll 7, he is down to 2 hit points. He rolls 11 again. I roll 8, so that is him dead. Next one has got a skill of 5. That's an advantage of 6 to me. So he rolls 6, and I roll 5. He's down to 2 hit points. He rolls 4, and I roll an 11, so he's dead. Last one's got a skill of 7, so that's only 4 advantage. He rolls a 6, I roll a 5, he's down to 2 hit points. He rolls a 6, and I roll an 8, and he is also dead. Okay, there we are. If you win, go to 111. Okay, so that's where I get the Black Pearl. You cut the pouch from around the pirate's neck and open it. Inside you find 6 black pearls. So, black pearl times 6 and check. Got that now. 2 luck points. Okay, so my luck is now back to 10 again. Now I've been below 9, which is quite good. You leave the room with your valuable treasure. Outside in the corridor, you may either open the other door if you have not done so already, or leave the ship and continue. So, let's see, what was the other door again? I don't think there was anything of real interest there. It's an option I haven't taken. There's a line missing here, isn't there? Let's see. Yeah, no. So I'm going to go to 78. I think I'll go to the other room. I get a clue of where to get the silver arrow, which I know is Clock Street now. The street runs north along the quayside for a few hundred meters before arriving at a junction. If you wish to continue north up Harbour Street, turn to 256. If you wish to walk east along Clog Street, turn to 216. I'm going to go east along Clog Street because that's where I can get my silver arrow, which is the next thing on my shopping list. Clock Street is very narrow and lined with terraced cottages and the occasional shop. To your left, you see what looks like a small boy lying face down on the cobblestones, groaning loudly. A hood is pulled over his head and you cannot see his face. A wooden hoop and stick lie by his side. If you wish to stop to help, turn to 72. If you'd rather walk on, turn to 317. Now that is a trap because that's a goblin trying to steal your money. And I can't remember if I actually got anything for winning, but I'm just going to not bother. I'm just going to ignore him. He's just lying down there to pretend to be injured and to be a boy so that people will come over and help him so he can attack them. One of the shops to your left is a candle maker's. There are many different colored candles burning brightly in the window. If you wish to enter the shop, turn to 241. I'm going to go inside there. Maybe buy a candle. Inside the shop, you see a tall, thin man with pointed ears and fair hair, pouring hot wax from an iron pan into a mold. The candle maker is an elf. As he turns to you to speak, you notice his slanted eyes, which are ice blue. For some reason, they appear very cold to you. He tells you that all these colored candles cost 1 gold piece each. You may buy as many as you like, as many as you wish, even. He then asks you if you would like to see one of his magic candles in the back room. If you wish to see one, turn to 63. If you'd rather leave the shop and head east, turn to 280. Now, if you want to see the magic candles, you go in there and you fall asleep and he steals all your money. I'm not going to do that. Not all your money, actually. He steals 5 gold pieces and 2 items. But maybe I'll buy, let's see, I got 37. I'll buy 2 candles. Don't know if they're going to be useful, but I hope I got the money for it at the moment. So I'm leaving the shop and heading east, 280. Further along the street on the left is another shop. A sign outside reads Ben Borriman, silversmith. If you wish to enter the shop, turn to 213. I will, thank you very much. A man wearing a white apron is sitting at a bench, busily polishing a silver goblet. There are several silver objects in a glass cupboard secured by an iron grill at the back of the shop. You may talk to the silversmith, attack him with your sword, or leave the shop and continue east. So I'm going to talk to him. I could have killed him, but yeah. You ask Ben Borriman if he has any silver arrows for sale. Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, if you attack him and you test your luck and you fail, then he beats you and you lose all your silver items. So, yeah, no, you don't want to do that. He replies that he does not, but will make one for you at the cost of 10 gold pieces or 2 magic items. So, 10 gold pieces it is then. So I'm going to go and down to 25 now. That feels so little at the moment. If you can afford his asking price, turn to 85. I can't afford it. Where's the... Okay, so here we are. So 10 gold pieces. And let's see, 42, can't, so 42, can't afford, or 85, afford. Okay, so I can afford that. I go to 85. You pay the silversmith and wait patiently while he makes a silver arrow for you. Finally, he presents you with it and assures you that it will be completely accurate in flight. Do I need a bow as well? You thank him for his trouble and leave his shop. So I've now got my silver arrow as well. So silver arrow, I'll just make a proper note of that. So black pearls, I got silver arrow. I can't just be throwing a silver arrow. I need a bow as well at some point. So hopefully I'll find that. So I've got my arrow. So silver arrow. And then I leave again and go to 100. So that is down here. Okay. Now I'm getting very close to the end. What was the end last time? So it'll be interesting to see where I can move from there. So you soon arrive at a junction. If you wish to turn north into Tower Street, turn to 127. If you wish to continue east into Stable Street, turn to 246. Now in Stable Street, I suddenly found myself in the sewers. I don't know if there's anything interesting down there, but maybe there is. Anyway, I'll go down to the sewers again because I want to have my revenge on this centipede, which defeated me last time, just to get some closure. So, 246. As you walk warily down the narrow cobbled street, you are suddenly confronted by a little old man who dashes out of one of the houses. Yes. It pulls a dirty bottle out of a canvas bag. As he speaks, you can't help staring at the large wart on his nose with its tuft of hair. He smiles and asks if you would like to pay 2 gold pieces for a drink of his wonderful healing potion. If you wish to pay for a drink, turn to 98. If you'd rather keep going east, turn to 363. I'm just going to keep going. I don't really trust that healing potion. In the middle of the street, you see a large manhole cover. If you wish to lift the manhole cover to see where it leads to, turn to 48. If you wish to keep walking east, turn to 205. Surely they wouldn't have manhole covers. I mean, they wouldn't have sewers, and they wouldn't have manhole covers if they did have sewers, probably. I mean, the sewers would be accessed by probably a gate and then some stairs going down. Manhole covers, that's a very new thing. There is an iron ladder secured to the rim of a hole, descending into a tunnel below. It is dark and a very unpleasant smell rises up from below. And that's a sort of a British understatement thing. Yes, there was a very unpleasant smell. If you wish to climb down the ladder, turn to 321. If you wish to replace the manhole cover and continue east, turn to 205. I'm going to go down and have a little look again because I want to find out what is down here and if there is anything useful. At the bottom of the ladder, you realize, much to your disgust, that you are standing in the sewer. Well, if you had to go all the way down before you realized it, then, well, you are kind of stupid, really. There are torches along the tunnel wall giving a very dim... Okay, torches. Okay, so somebody has been going down into the sewers on a daily basis every few hours to replace the torches. Yes, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Torches. Torches everywhere in fantasy fiction, and it just doesn't make any sense. Also in movies, of course, all the time. Anyway. If you want to know why torches are so stupid in fantasy fiction and films, then you should watch some of I think it's Lindy Beige. It's got some videos on that where he talks about torches and how nonsensical it is that there would be torches practically anywhere. Torches don't make sense, and of course, if you do have torches, you wouldn't. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. Anyway. If you wish to walk north along the tunnel, turn to 356. I didn't go north last time, I went south. I'm going to walk south again. You can hear some scratching sounds in the tunnel ahead. Then you see a long shadow appear on the curved brick wall. In the dim light, you can just make out a large shape of something black and shiny moving towards you. Why dim light? I've got a lantern, I've got candles, there are torches everywhere. It wouldn't be dim light at all, would there? The scratching becomes louder and you also hear clicking sounds. The monster is only a couple of meters ahead of you when you recognize it as a giant centipede. Do you possess an insect bracelet? I do indeed possess an insect bracelet. Of course I do. Wouldn't go down here otherwise. You remove the bracelet from your wrist and toss it on at the oncoming monster. Is that what you do? It lands on its armor-like shell and sticks to it like glue. You then watch as the bracelet starts to burn its way through the shell into the body of the giant centipede. Smoke rises from the neat round hole, and as the bracelet burns deeper, you can see from the frantic movements of the centipede that it is in its death throes. Finally, it is still, and you manage to squeeze yourself between its body and the roof of the tunnel. You walk further down the tunnel, which ends at an iron grill through which the sewage runs. You wish to remove the grill, turn to 377. You wish to walk back to the entrance hole, turn to 174. Okay, so those are the only two options. Okay, so maybe there isn't anything interesting down here then. Right, so 174, go back, or 377, remove grill. I'm going to remove the grill, obviously. The iron grill is securely bolted to the brick wall and you are unable to remove it. However, above the grill you notice a dark recess where some bricks have been removed from the wall. It is too dark to see deep inside the recess. If you wish to put your hand into the dark hole, turn to 92. If you would rather walk back to the entrance hole, turn to 174. Now surely this is also where I could use a light and actually have a look inside, but so I'm given the option of going back again or putting my hand into something I can't see. I'm going to put my hand in where I can't see. I'm sort of invested now. I've got an vested curiosity. You are slowly feeling your way along the bricks when your hand comes into contact with a smooth, flat object. You pull it out and see that you are holding a mirror. Now, mirrors are always useful in these fighting fantasy books, especially Ian Livingstone's, because you often have gorgons and stuff in them. So, Ian Livingstone, yeah, well, I suppose both of them actually like the gorgons and the creatures that have some kind of Medusa and creatures that have some kind of death stare that you need a mirror for. Anyway, that was a very nice. Speaking of mirrors, because now that I'm playing the early books, I do have quite an appreciation for Return to Firetop Mountain, Fighting Fantasy number 50, because there are some really clever stuff in there, and I do seem to recall there was an incident there that also required a mirror, and that was quite well done, actually, the way it was played out and the way it was, the game mechanics of it. Because if you didn't bring out the mirror in time, you would turn to stone, and if you brought it out in time, you still had to sort of test for luck, and you have to fight with your eyes closed, etc. So it's quite clever. Anyway, so I get a mirror. So mirror, which hopefully will become useful at some point. And then I go 174. Back at the entrance hole, you may either climb up the ladder to the street in order to continue east, or if you have not done so already, you may walk north along the sewer. Turn to 356. Okay, now we're given the option of going 356, so that is fine. I'll do that. I'm going to die down here, aren't I, if I keep going? Okay. Ooh, those look a bit nasty. Now that is a very good picture. If you don't like rats, look away now. Actually, it's too late. If you don't like rats, you have looked away already. Anyway. Ahead you hear the sound of squealing and frantic splashing. Long shadows are cast by moving objects coming towards you. Then you see the sleek, glistening shapes of 3 giant rats only a few meters away from you. You draw your sword hastily and fight each of the rats in turn. Okay, so At least they're not very strong. So we've got. I'm at let's see, stamina. I'm at 13 actually. Which reminds me, I should have eaten by now, but I'll do that later. I suppose it's all this sewer smell is keeping me off my appetite. Now 4, 4, 5, 4, and 5, 5. Okay, so first one I've got 7-point advantage. That's pretty good. 9, 10. So of course there's no way they can beat me almost. 8. He rolls and I roll an 11. So the first one is dead. Second one is a 6-point advantage. He rolls a 12. I rolled a 7. Still me hitting him actually. He rolls a 12 again. I roll a 9, so that is he's dead. Last one, also 5. He rolls a 7. I roll an 8. He's down to 3 hit points. He rolls 2. I roll a 9. He's down to 1 hit point. He rolls 12. So many 12s. And I rolled a 7, and that means that he is actually dead. I'll never roll that many 12s. Ever. Okay. Right. And a win. I go to 28. 28. While you were fighting the giant rats, you thought you saw someone or something skulking in the shadows ahead. So, if you wish to continue further north along the tunnel, turn to 265. Okay, so we got rats. Let's see, so 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5. 28 win. So now you can go back 104. I'll put 104 there. Go back. Or keep going. So 265. I'll just do that down there. So north, even though that is. I usually try to keep it sort of roughly geographical, but now of course north is going to be down on my thing, but that's all right. As usual, this game is also sort of a from south to north kind of topography you feel when you play it, which is a normal way to map them, because when I'm doing my maps in Twine, it has to be the other way around, which, yeah, I would have liked to have the option of going from bottom to top, but there you go. Okay, so I'll eat 1 provision down to 7, and my stamina is back to 17. So I'm going to go to 265. Okay, 265. With your sword still dripping with the blood of the rats, you walk further along the tunnel. The ledge you are walking along is narrow and slippery, and you have to tread carefully so as not to fall into the slow-flowing sewage channel. The tunnel gradually bends round to the right, and as you follow it round, the silence is suddenly shattered by the sound of running feet and a wailing scream. Coming straight at you, wild-eyed, with flailing arms and contorted face, uttering demon sorcery, is a white-haired old woman dressed in rags. She is a hag, and this is the next on my shopping list, is Hag's Hair. So, do you possess a potion of mind control? No, I don't. Okay. So, potion, mind control, question mark, and 82 years, or 390. No. Okay. The hag is conjuring a spell which instills terrible fear into you. Your mind is full of illusions, and you think you are being burned alive with a crowd of skeletal faces looking on gleefully. You swing your sword around blindly, trying to hack at the faces laughing at you. Test your luck. And my luck is still 10, or is 10 again, and I still usually don't make my luck rolls this time, but I'll try again. And 8, and I finally made a luck roll. So my luck is down to 9, and I'm successful. And so test luck. Now, I'll just continue reading now. If you're lucky, a swipe from your sword cuts into the hag, turn to 144. If you're unlucky, your sword merely cuts through the air, turn to 59. So, do like this. So we've got 59, unlucky, or 144, lucky. Okay. Yes. So 144 and lucky. The hag screams as your sword cuts deep into her arm. Her concentration is lost and the spell is broken. Your mind clears and you are able to face her with your senses acute again. From out of her clothing, the hag pulls a dagger with a long, shimmering blade. You are eager to fight her. So she's got a skill of 7, and so let's see. So that's hag 7/7. So 7/7. So I'm up to 17 again. Let's see. I'll just do like this now. So I'm at 11, 17. She's at 7/7. So I've got a 4-point advantage on my skill. So she rolls 3. That's a good start. I'll roll a 7. She is down to 5 hit points. She rolls an 8. I rolled a 6. She is down to 3 hit points. She rolls 9. I roll 6. That is, she's down to 1 hit point. And she rolls a 7. I roll a 6 and she is dead. Ding dong. The witch is dead. So, and I win and go to 303. Win. You bend over the motionless body of the dead hag and you cut off a tuft of her hair with your sword. You put the hair safely in your backpack and walk back down the tunnel to the entrance hall. Okay, so that is mission accomplished. Hag's hair. So, really need to get to this spot to get the hair as well. So that's another essential place to go. Next on my shopping list there, so I got the hag's hair. I'm still missing a lotus flower and a tattoo. So, okay, now I'm going back to 104. Back at the entrance hall, you may either climb up the ladder to the street in order to continue east, or if you have not done so already, you may walk south along the sewer. So, so I can walk down 118, or back up on the street 205. Okay. It looks like I'm on the right path, certainly for this part of the game at the moment, because I found the pearl, arrow, the hair, so that is pretty good. After replacing the manhole cover, you set off east again. Everything seemed a little too quiet, and you begin to feel nervous. Ahead, you see that Stable Street turns sharply to the left. If you wish to walk around the corner, turn to 44. If you wish to walk back to the junction and turn right into Tower Street, turn to 127. So, 44. Corner. Or back to Tower Street. Now, feeling a bit nervous. So this is maybe your sixth sense sort of hitting in, and maybe there's an ambush or something going on around the corner there. I'm going to go back and head up Tower Street. Sounds safer at the moment. Just ahead of you, 3 men are involved in a fight. The 2 younger men appear to be attacking an older man with iron bars. If you wish to help the old man, turn to 177. If you'd rather avoid the brawling men and continue north, turn to 348. So we've got the option of 177, help, or continue north 348. 348 north. I'm going to try to help and see if there's any Maybe they're attacking him because he is the evil one. That's possible. You draw your sword and rush to help the old man. He is lying on the ground and the two other men are beating him and trying to take his leather bag. You call out and they turn and attack you. So, see, there's a lot of stuff going on here that I couldn't really do. I wouldn't really do if I didn't have such a good skill. So, I'm wondering how this is going to be if my skill is lower, which is most likely, then I'll have to be more careful next time. So, I'm still on 11-17. Now we got a 7-7. I wanted to time again, so that's pretty good. 8-6. Okay, so first one I got a 4 skill advantage. He rolls a 10. I roll a 9, so he's down to 5 hit points. He rolls a 9. I roll an 8. He's down to 3 hit points. He rolls a 6. I roll a 7. He's down to 1 hit point. He rolls 6 and I roll a 10 and he is dead. Second one, I've only got a 3 skill advantage. He rolls a 5. I roll a 4. He's down to 4 hit points. He rolls a 3. I roll an 8. He's down to 2 hit points. And he rolls a 2 and I roll a 12. So that is definitely a proper coup de grace there. That sounds like sort of spectacular. He fails in his roll and I do the most spectacular thing, and it's one of those finishing moves from Mortal Kombat, probably. Right. You walk over to the old man and help him to his feet. He is very grateful and offers to buy you a drink at a nearby tavern. If you wish to go for a drink, turn to 325. If you'd rather continue your quest, turn to 348. Now, maybe he's going to rob me blind now, because this could be a completely red herring. So I'm going to see there. So this is so it's a fight. So it was let's see, 7-7, 8-6. And win 51, win, and that is 325 tavern. I'm gonna go for that drink because even if, I mean, whatever it is, it's going to be interesting. You follow the old man through the swinging doors of the Hog and Frog Tavern. He tells you to sit down at the small table in the corner while he shuffles over to the bar to buy the drinks. There are several shifty-looking characters sitting at nearby tables, but they do not seem interested in you. Soon the old man comes back to the table carrying 2 wooden mugs, filled to the brim with cider. Once seated, he opens his leather bag and places 2 small pots on the table. He opens one and rubs the white cream in the pot on his wounds. He smiles and tells you that he is a chemist by trade and that you should rub some of the cream on your wounds too. I'm not wounded, am I? No. You take his advice and are surprised to feel the healing effect of the cream working quickly. At 5 stamina points. That is pretty good, actually. So if I'd had any injuries now, plus 5 stamina. Okay. After finishing a drink, you say goodbye to the chemist, leave the tavern, and head north. So that was a nice positive thing. That's nice to know about, because I might need that at some other point. So, let's see. Tower Street makes a sharp turn to the right, going east between tall buildings. An iron bridge crosses overhead between 2 of the buildings, and you see movement on it. Small cloaked people are carrying laden sacks between the buildings, apparently in a great hurry. If you wish to call out to them, turn to 251. If you wish to walk under the bridge and continue east, turn to 30. So we've got 30 east or 251 call out. So call out. Okay, so I'm gonna call out to them, just curious what's going on here. Okay, that's not a good idea, is it? One of the small people stops and looks down at you. He mistakes you for a town guard and calls out to his accomplices to run for cover. Then he points a short crossbow at you and fires a bolt. Test your luck, which is 9. And I'm lucky, but my luck goes down to 8. If you're lucky, the bolt thuds into the ground at your feet. Turn to 269. So it's test luck. 269. Lucky. 330. Unlucky. Okay. That was lucky, so 260. The little man with the crossbow curses before running into the building on your left. There does not appear to be an easy way to catch him, so you walk under the bridge and continue east. So that's just a pointless encounter then in that case. So don't do that. No point. Okay. So I'm turning to 30. Tower Street soon ends at a junction where it meets Stable Street running north and south. You decide to go north. Okay, so that's where you'd end up if you'd gone the other way. Maybe I'll go there next time. So screw that up there. And 76 north. Okay. To your left, you see a large wooden barn set back from the houses. 2 horses are tied to a post outside the barn, and smoke rises from a crooked chimney on top of its low, flat roof. If you wish to walk through the barn doors, turn to 25. If you would rather continue north, turn to 115. So we've got north 115, or I'll just put that over here. I don't know how much space I need for the other route there if I get to it. 25 barn. I'll check out the barn, of course. I'm going to check out the barn. I'm checking out everything now. You soon realize you are in a stable when you see a large, bare-chested man wearing a grubby white apron busy at work at an open fire. Nobody you can't wear a white apron when you're working with fire. He would be wearing a leather apron. Anyway. He takes a red-hot iron bar from the fire with his gloved hand and starts to hammer it into the shape of a horseshoe on his anvil. Sweat pours from his brow as he toils with the hammer. Will you make conversation with the blacksmith, attack him with your sword, or leave him to his labors and continue north? So we have 3 options. Let's do them over like so. So we got 169. Talk. 323, which always seems an option and usually doesn't feel right. Attack, or oh, hang on, there's nothing there. Okay, so 115, go north. So I'm going to talk, of course. The blacksmith removes his gloves and wipes his hands on his apron before asking you what you want. You answer by asking if he makes anything besides horseshoes. He replies that in his spare time he enjoys making chainmail coats. In fact, it has become quite a profitable sideline of his, especially in a place like Port Blacksand. He tells you in great detail of the skill and labor that goes into making one, and finally inquires if you're interested in buying one. They're not cheap. If you wish to pay 20 gold pieces for a chainmail coat, turn to 46. If you wish to leave the stables without buying a coat, turn to 115. Now, I don't know. I will buy it. I've got 25 gold. I'm going to buy a chainmail coat. So 46, all back to 115. So 46, chainmail, 20 gold pieces. The blacksmith takes your money and walks over to some bales of hay in the corner. He lifts one up, and underneath it you see the chainmail coat. He turns to you and says, "You have to hide everything in this place. You can't trust anybody. The coat fits perfectly and its workmanship is excellent. Add 2 skill points." Now, of course, this is the kind of thing where the logic of the game system doesn't really work, because at this point you haven't really lost any skill and you might not be able to, and you'd think that the intention was for anything to do with weapons and armor for you to actually have a better chance in combat, which means I will have to increase my skill now to, even though it says do not go above the initial, it just doesn't work with the way the book is written. So technically now I've got +2. So for the sake of combat, +2 skill. And I'm going to do that because it seems fair. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point, is there? So, so I'm going to continue note because it just means I'm less likely to get injured in combat. So it makes sense to have 2 more skill. Coming towards you as fast as he is able is a man in tattered rags with a ball and chain attached to his leg. He is exhausted and collapses in your arms. Why would I take him in my arms? Anyway, his face is dirty and unshaven. With great difficulty, he manages to speak, saying, "Please cut me free. The town guards are not far behind me. I have been locked in a dungeon for 2 years, but managed to tunnel my way out. I was robbed and unable to pay my taxes, so Lord Azza ordered I should be jailed for 5 years. Please help me." Farther up the street, you hear shouting voices, and then armed men come into view. If you want to cut through his chains with your sword, turn to 90. If you want to hand him up, cutting through chains with a sword. That's how to ruin your sword, isn't it? If you want to hand him over to the town guards, turn to 274. Now, I'm going to help him because I'm feeling all altruistic now. And immortal as well. I'm feeling immortal with my new chainmail. So 274. 274. Okay. So hand over. So guards for help. You swing your sword with all your strength and bring it down on the heavy chain. Much to your surprise, it bounces off. Well, I'm not surprised at all. Before you have time to try again, you are surrounded by 4 town guards who are pointing their pikes at you. Will you tell them you have caught the escaped prisoner for them, or offer them a bribe to let you and the prisoner go free? Those are the only options. Kind of just fight them all. All right then. So we have 199 or 187 bribe. I'm not gonna have enough to bribe them, but I'm gonna see what happens when I go to 187. I could give them an item, I suppose. You tell the town guards that you have something special for them if they let the 2 of you go. They reply that the prisoner is a murderer and that you should not help him, but they insist that you bribe them or else you 2 will be taken to the jail. They say they are interested in any of the following items: magic armor, magic rings, or magic potions. If you wish to give them one of the items they require, turn to 260. I don't have magic rings. I don't have magic armor. Good armor, not magic armor. I do have 1 magic potion, actually. Okay. But I could give them my potion of stamina. So I'm going to 341. So 341, no, or 260. Yes. Of course, there's a missing option here, and that is actually that, or it should say that if you do not wish to give them anything, then also go to 341. I'm going to give them my potion. Let's see. The guards take their bribe and let you go. As you walk north, you hear the angry shouts of the captured murderer behind you. Hurry on in case he tries to implicate you. And that wasn't very useful, was it? I just gave up my potion of stamina for this ingrate anyway. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Anyway. I was hoping I'd get something out of that. Okay, so that means that basically this whole thing is probably something that's completely unnecessary to do. Okay, 222. On the right-hand side, the houses are separated from the street by a wooden fence with shrubs, trees, bushes, and flowers behind it. There is a turnstile in the middle of the fence, by the side of which is a sign reading Public Gardens, entry fee 1 gold piece. And this is where I might get my lotus flower, so I'm definitely going to go in. Got 5 gold pieces left actually, so 5. Need a lot of room for gold in this one because it changes so much. Yes, if we wish to go into the gardens, turn to 370. So we got Public Gardens. How am I recording doing? It's showing half full now. Okay, that means I need to change my batteries after this, and I'll have to keep an eye on it so my sound doesn't go. I do not want to switch to my camera audio because that is rubbish. Maybe I should have had my other recorder out as a backup. That's a good idea, actually. I can run it off power, so that would be useful. I'm going to do that next time. Okay. So 370. Okay, 133, keep walking. So 133. Walk on. Gardens. In fact, I'll just take a few moments and get my other sound recorder out and just so I have a backup in case something happens with my recording now. Just have a memory card in it. Yeah, this is my old sound recorder, the Zoom H4n. And it has a light, screen lights up, and it has only 2 batteries, which means it drains batteries a lot faster than the new one, which doesn't light up unless you want it to. And yeah, I'm going to reset the time or the date. Let's see, recording level is correct. But now I don't have anywhere good to put it. Because I'm using the tripod for the other recorder. Let's see if there's anything I can put it on so it won't pick up any noises from the let's see if I can like that actually. So if I do, sorry about this, just doing all this fancy stuff now. Okay, so if I do like that, I'll do like so. Okay. Oh, what happened there? Did I just lose power? Really sorry about this, but I just want to be sure that I have a sound recording going all the way through this. So I'm going to put some batteries in there. Just be sure that it doesn't run off. Okay, like so. And record, and okay. Now that's the backup recording running. Maybe I should do that, sort of have it on standby just in case the battery starts to go low. Right. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go into the garden. 370. Let's see, I'll just move this back just a little bit so it's out of shot. Actually, my phone shouldn't be in shot either. There we are. All nice and tidy. You place the coin in the slot. Okay, so I'm down to 4 gold pieces. You place the coin in the slot and walk through the turnstile. Although the flowers and shrubs are not outstanding, you are nevertheless surprised that such a place exists in Port Blacksand. The gardens are not very large, extending back some 60 meters to where some houses back onto them. There are 2 paths to follow, one of which runs round the edge of the gardens and one that leads directly into the center, where there is some topiary. Each shrub has been cut into the shape of an animal, and you decide to take a closer look. The path leads into this picture here, and you got a lion-shaped one and a wolf, and I suppose maybe they come alive because they might be magical if you pick the flowers. Each shrub has been cut into the shape of an animal, and you decide to take a closer look. Yeah, the path leads into a small paved area surrounded by the animal-shaped shrubs. In the middle, there is a stone plinth upon which sits a large earthen bowl containing lotus flowers. There is a painted sign which reads, "Do not pick the flowers." The gardener is nowhere to be seen, and there is nobody else about. Wish to risk picking one of the flowers, turn to 14. Of course, I have to pick the flowers. So I'm going to 14, pick, or 1, 3, 3, north. Oh, hang on. No, north, that's the other one. Okay. So I'm going to pick the flowers because that's why I'm here. I need a lotus flower for my shopping list. Okay, so as soon as you pluck one of the flowers, you hear the noise of rustling leaves. 3 of the animal-shaped hedges have uprooted themselves and are closing in on you. Do you have a ring of fire? A ring of fire. I'm sure some of these rings are we talking about. There must be, yeah. Maybe in the beginning, if I do the middle street, there'll be something there. Okay, so ring of fire. I don't have a ring of fire, so ring fire. Question mark. No, I don't have a ring of fire, so I am going to go to. Okay, so 237. Yes, and 191. No. You draw your sword to defend yourself against the advancing leaf beasts. They all attack you at once, seemingly trying to crush you and smother you. Treat the leaf beasts as a single creature. So, skill 6, stamina 6. Should be a walk in the park. Right, so 6, 9, 13, 17 for the purposes of fighting, which means that I've got an advantage of 7 on my skill. So they roll 5, I roll 5, they're down to 4, they roll 4, I roll 5, they're down to 2 hit points, they roll 3 and I roll 3, and they are dead. So I'll win and go to 163. So 1, 6, 3. Win. At least that ring didn't seem very useful, because if that's the only thing you can use it for, then yeah. The sarcophagus. Hang on. Sarcophagus. Did I read that right? 191. Did I put the wrong number? If you win. Oh. Hang on. I've been misreading this properly now. Okay, so 270. I'm looking at something else. Is there some serious typo going in here? So pick flowers, 14. So there's a mummy here, so get 14. Do you have a ring of fire? 191. Okay. Ah, okay. I was looking at. Well, the ring of fire is used for something else. That's why I've managed to mix these up now. So, if you win. So I'm not going anywhere if I win, apart from back to. That's a different encounter altogether. So I'm going to 133 with a lotus flower. So all I need now is my tattoo. And I'm wondering if maybe that's something I can get over here where I didn't go. Just guessing now. Possible. Or it comes next. Yes, 133. And that means a new page on my map. So 133. So this is FF05. Let's put that in the corner so I can quickly sort them out at a later date when after I got all this pile of different maps lying about. I do have quite a few now. The street ends at a junction with Mill Street, which runs east and west along the city wall. Okay, this is the end of the city. Looking east, you see a group of town guards marching towards you and decide to walk quickly west along Mill Street. On your left, you see a narrow lane, and ahead you see a young lad coming towards you, pushing a barrow laden with fruit. If you wish to walk down the lane, turn to 182. If you wish to buy some fruit from the barrow boy, turn to 160. I'll talk to the barrow boy. So we're going 160 fruit for 182 west. So the boy puts down his barrow and asks you what you would like to buy. He recommends his plums as being particularly refreshing. If you wish to pay 1 gold piece for a bag of plums, turn to 211. If you wish to buy a bag of red apples for 1 gold piece, turn to 242. And that's it. Okay, so okay, so maybe buy a bag of plums then. And I'm down to 3 gold pieces. 3. And I got a bag of plums. Yes. So let's see, options were oh, hang on. So 211 plums, and there was something with apples here as well. Apples. The plums are sweet and juicy and taste delicious. Add 1 stamina point, so plus 1 stamina. Okay. You wipe your mouth with the back of your hand and continue west, turn to 307. Okay, that is a bit ominous because that is a different number to the one I was given before. So, which always is a bit interesting. Anyway, now I missed a reference here on 160. That's 242 for apples. Okay, 242 for apples. And 307. So something different happens now because I stopped for the fruit. Walking towards you along the street are 2 huge guards wearing the black uniform of Lord Azar. As they get closer, you see that they are trolls, brutal mercenaries employed by Lord Azar's Imperial Elite Guard. Now, Lord Azar is the guy in the chariot earlier that I didn't wait for. I just went into hiding. To your right, there is a tree which reaches almost to the top of the city wall. If you wish to risk walking past the trolls, turn to 290. If you wish to climb the tree in order to get over the wall, turn to 11. So, now this seems like the end of my trip into Port Blacksand, doesn't it just? So let's see, 11 climb or 290 walk past. I'm going to walk past them. Of course, I'm going to walk past them. I'm feeling immortal in my new chainmail. You try to walk nonchalantly past the trolls, but they suspect something odd about you and call you over to them. They ask you where you live, and you reply that you are in Port Blacksand on a trading mission. The trolls laugh scornfully and ask to see your pass. If you have a merchant's pass, turn to 219. I do indeed, so pass, question mark, and okay, so 335, no, and 219, yes. I presume if I didn't have one, I would have to fight them. So 219, 219. The larger of the 2 trolls tells you that his name is Sourbelly, and it is his duty to track down unwelcome visitors to Port Blacksand. He looks at the pass and says, "You don't look much like a merchant to me. Are you one of those fancy folk who have been attending the spice sales in Pepper Street?" If you wish to answer yes, turn to 150. If you wish to answer no, turn to 393. Is there a Pepper Street? I haven't seen one. Might be a trick question. So 150 Pepper Street, question mark. So 393. No. I'm going to say no because I don't believe there is a Pepper Street. You tell the trolls that you are a weapon maker and have been to the market to sell daggers to a stallholder there. Sourbelly sneers at you and says, Well, in that case, you have finished your business in Port Blacksand. Allow us to escort you to the city gates. If you wish to let them throw you out of the city, turn to 156. If you wish to attack the trolls, turn to 73. Now, I don't want to leave the city because I still need my tattoo, unless that comes later. But I don't want to risk losing the possibility, however small, that maybe I can get my tattoo after this inside the city. So I will have to attack them, it seems. So let's see, 156 and 73. So 73 is attack, and 156 leave city. So 73. So I'm going to attack them now. I wouldn't have done this if I didn't have to. So, ooh. You draw your sword and stand ready to fight the trolls. They seem pleased that you are going to give them a chance to practice their beloved sport of killing humans, and advance towards you, swinging their battle axes. Souribelly snarls and says, "Stand back, fat nose. Let me deal with this dog alone." Fight them one at a time. So that's 10, 11, and 9, 10. So good thing I got my chainmail. So I'm at, let's see, so 13, 17 for all intents and purposes, and 10, 11, and 9, 10. Okay, so first one, so I got a 3 skill advantage, which isn't a lot actually. He rolls a 10, I roll a 9, so he is down to 9 hit points. He rolls 10, I roll 10, he's down to 7 hit points. He rolls a 3, I roll a 9, he's down to 5. He rolls a 6, I roll a 6, he's down to 3. He rolls a 3, I roll a 5, and he's got 1 left, and he rolls a 4, and I roll a 10, so he is dead. Next one, I've got a 4-point advantage. He rolls 11, I roll 9, so he's down to 8. He rolls 7, I roll 10, so he's down to 6. He rolls 10, I roll 7, so that is him down to 4. He rolls 3, I roll 7, he's down to 2. And he rolls 9, I roll 8, and he is dead. Okay, so if you win, turn to 110. You may escape after killing Souribelly by throwing your shield at Fat Nose and running off west along Mill Street. Lose 1 skill point, etc. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So win, and also there's an escape there as well. Yes, C, and 1, 1, 10, win, and 2, 3, 9, escape. Okay, so I win and I go to 110. Your fight attracted a group of onlookers. Some of the beggars even cheered when you cut down old Souribelly, but one sly-looking character sloped off with the obvious intention of finding more guards. It is dangerous to stay here any longer, so you run off west along Mill Street, turn to 239. Okay. Behind you comes the sound of running feet. You look round and see a group of town guards chasing after you. As you stop to think where to run next, a boy runs out of a house and shouts, "Follow me." You have no better plan in mind, so you run after him. The boy races down to the bottom of Mill Street and turns left into Goose Street. He stops at a cart laden with hay and starts to talk frantically to a kind-faced old man, saying, "Uncle, uncle, this brave person killed Souribelly. We must help him to escape." The old man speaks calmly to the boy, saying, "Indeed, we owe our friend a favor. Quick, jump into the cart. Climb into the cart and cover yourself with hay. You lie completely motionless as you hear the running guards approach. They stop to speak to the old thatcher, but he sends them running off down Goose Street. Wild Goose Street Chase, as it's known as. After they are gone, he whispers to you that he will take you to safety. You hear him climb onto the cart and urge his horse into a slow trot. The cart bounces noisily along the cobbled street, but you feel comfortable in the hay. The cart stops and starts a few times, and you hear questioning voices. About half an hour later, the cart stops again, and the thatcher calls out, "You can come out now." You poke your head out of the hay and are surprised to see that you are on the edge of a wood. To the west, you can see the daunting shape of Port Blacksand. You jump out of the cart and thank the Thatcher for his trouble. So obviously it was on the cards, wasn't it, that I had to get out of town at this point anyway, which means I'm a tattoo short of my shopping list, which is a bit of a shame. He says goodbye to you and wheels his cart around to return to Port Blacksand. Do you have all the items required to slay the Night Prince, and have you been tattooed? If you have, turn to 201. If you are missing any of the items or have not been tattooed, turn to 299. Okay, so that is the moment of truth. So shopping list. I'll call it shopping list. Question mark. And 201 yes, 201 yes, or 299 no. I'm missing one thing. I still have to find out where to get tattooed. It would be extremely dangerous for you to enter Port Blacksand again, especially as many of the town guards would recognize you. There is nothing else you can do but to make the long walk back to Silverton to report that you have failed in your mission. The adventure ends here. Well, that is an interesting end. And so I'm really close now to finding all the things I need. I've got all my shopping list apart from one thing, which is the tattoo. So my big challenge for next time is to find the tattoo. And I suppose if I get really good skills again next time and I get a tattoo, I stand a really good chance of winning the game. So I'm quite excited about that. I feel I'm getting really close. So yeah. So I will see you next time for more City of Thieves, and I can see why people really like this one. It's very exciting. There's lots of things happening. There's lots of combat, although of course if you don't have a good skill you are going to be in a bit of trouble. Of course this time I was able to get through a lot of stuff because I could just fight my way through. At other times you might have to be a little bit more cunning and careful. So I'm sure when I find exactly the right path and the easiest thing to do, that it will turn out that you won't need that higher skill, but it still looks like maybe you need a certain, because some battles are unavoidable, especially if you're not lucky. So a combination of luck and skill are going to be vital for winning this game. So next time, more City of Thieves. Are you excited? I'm certainly looking forward to it. So thanks for watching, and thanks for your patience in watching this whole thing, which again turned into quite a long slog. It's now 2.5 hours on my camera, and my sound recorder is still alive. So I will see you next time for more City of Thieves, and thanks for watching, and goodbye for now. Bye bye.